The room that once glittered with champagne glasses and hollow toasts now buzzed with quiet urgency. Men in dark suits slipped through side doors, whispering into earpieces. Antonio was issuing orders like a general preparing for war. Lorenzo moved through it all like he'd been born to command. Shoulders squared, voice calm but sharp. Amelia followed him out of the ballroom and down a narrow hallway that led to one of the family's private rooms. It was a place she'd only seen once before as a child, when her father had dragged her out of a meeting she wasn't supposed to overhear. Back then, it had scared her all leather chairs, maps with pins, and cold strategy. Now, walking in beside Lorenzo, it felt like stepping onto the battlefield. Whoever hit those trucks knew exactly what they were doing, Lorenzo said, striding to the head of the table. They weren't amateurs. Antonio slammed his palm against the table. They're testing us. They think this engagement is just for show. They want to see if the Rossi and DeLuca names still mean anything. Lorenzo's father nodded grimly. Then we show them. Amelia stood near the doorway, her heart thudding against her ribs. She'd grown up around whispers of deals, alliances, and betrayals, but she'd never been this deep in the center of it. She wasn't supposed to be. Her role was usually to stay polished, untouchable, part of the family image. Not this. Lorenzo's eyes flicked to her. You should sit, he said, not unkindly. I'm fine, she answered, a little too fast. You're shaking, he pointed out softly. She hadn't noticed until then. She gripped her hands together. I'm not leaving. Something in his expression shifted. Not amusement, not mockery. Respect, maybe. He gave a small nod and turned back to the table. Antonio's voice cut through the tension. From this moment on, the two of you don't leave each other's side. Publicly, privately, I don't care. You'll be photographed, seen, followed, and if these people are watching, they'll see a united front. Amelia stiffened. You're assigning me a babysitter? Lorenzo raised an eyebrow. Trust me, princess, I'm not thrilled either. His father shot them both a look that made the air go still. This isn't a game. Whoever did this just declared war. And if either of you slip, they'll use it. The meeting went on for another hour. Strategies layered over counter-strategies, routes redrawn, men dispatched. By the time it ended, Amelia's mind was spinning. She followed Lorenzo out into the quiet night air behind the estate, needing space to breathe. The garden was dimly lit, shadows stretching long between marble statues. She hugged her arms around herself, the chills seeping through her gown. You look like you want to run, Lorenzo said, stepping up beside her. She gave a humorless laugh. Running wouldn't help. There's nowhere to go. He studied her for a moment. You've always been good at pretending, but right now, you don't have to. She turned to him. Why do you care? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he took a step closer, the distance between them thinning. Because if you fall apart, this whole thing falls apart. And I can't afford that. Neither can you. For a heartbeat, they just stood there, two unwilling partners bound by something neither of them chose. But in his eyes, she saw something unfamiliar, not the cocky arrogance he wore like armor, but the weight of someone who'd been carrying responsibility far too long. You don't trust me? She said quietly. I don't trust anyone, he replied, but I'll protect you. That much, I promise. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't gentle. But the way he said it, steady, unwavering, sent a shiver down her spine. Somewhere in the distance, a gunshot cracked through the night. Both their heads snapped up. Lorenzo was already moving before her mind caught up. Inside. Now, she didn't argue this time. Men flooded out of the house, guns drawn, scanning the perimeter. Someone shouted orders in Italian. The garden lights snapped off, plunging everything into shadows. Amelia's pulse pounded in her ears as Lorenzo grabbed her wrist, pulling her behind a stone wall. Stay down, he hissed. Who is it? She whispered. I don't know, he murmured, eyes scanning the darkness. But they're close. For the first time, she realized this wasn't just politics anymore. This was blood and bullets, and she was in it with him.